Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to do some major overhauls on the Dometic AC units on my Keystone Cougar. I have two. I wish I had three. So this one up front, this is going to be a 13.5 unit, and then the one out back is a 15K. And so today, as part one, we're going to start cleaning these things. These have not been cleaned for basically 4 years, and I'm going to go ahead and open them up. I have, opened them up in the past, pulled out some leaves, things like that, but today we're going to actually clean the fins. We're going to check them if they're bent, and the part two is we're going to add some soft starts to the AC units to help me be able to run two on my generator. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll see how they look right now. Alright, so there's two Phillips screws here on the front. I'm going to take these bad boys out. And then one on each side. This is the passenger side. And then this is the driver's side. And after that, it should just pop right up, like so. Actually, this doesn't look dirty at all. So that side is pretty clean, but I wonder if inside there, see, inside of there looks a little bit more dirtier. I think this does pop up, because this should be the Evap. So if you're cleaning this one, you're gonna have to be careful not to get it too wet, because that is inside of the RV. I gotta give a special shout out to National RV Training Academy with Todd. He's actually the one that turned me on to this Evap foam no rinse, and also this air conditioner Coil foaming cleaner. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this one for the back, and then I'm gonna use this Evap spray for the front. Now, based off what Todd said, was with this one, this has no smell. It's not like a strong chemical. And because this goes basically into the RV, the air does, you don't want to have a cleaning smell like this inside of there. So this one's gonna be used out back. So we're gonna clean this one first, and all we have to do is just spray it on, and that's pretty much it. It is self-rinsing, but what I did, I got some warm water in this bottle, and we're gonna spray it. I am gonna put rags in here. I got them right here actually, because I don't want to make too much of a mess. I'm a messy dude, unfortunately. So we're gonna just kind of, put these right here. That way, I don't make any mess inside of here. So let's go ahead and start spraying it, and then we'll pretty much go from there. But yeah, there's definitely some dust on here. You can kind of see it. See that? So yeah, they need to be clean. Alrighty, looks like I got it pretty good. Let's see if it came through on the other side. Might have to do, yeah, you're gonna have to do both sides. So it's gonna be a little tougher to get the bottom. So just gonna kind of spray it in there as best I can, like that. Spray it on the top a little bit. Alrighty, so it's been about maybe 5 minutes at this point. Looks like the foam is working, doing its magic. I have been using this to really spread out some of these fins too. I believe Changing Lanes might have said that you could use this brush for that. And it definitely does work in doing so. Yeah, it definitely does work. Alrighty, so I think I'm going to spray some water in here. See if I can get this to work a little bit better. The water should just help it to really break up some of that dirt to you a little bit better, and then the sun will probably dry it out pretty good. But yeah, it's definitely doing something, because this brush is definitely dirty. I just took the bolt out here on the side. There's two. I can't help myself. I feel like, you know, I want to try to get in here. I'm already up on the roof. Why not just try to clean it as best I can? But look at this. There's so much dust, and it looks like dog hair, or maybe it's from one of our, I don't know where this came from. There's like a lot of debris on this side. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and vacuum. I think this might be better for these edges. We are going to use the vacuum cleaner. Be sure not to bend in the fins. I wouldn't even get too close. Like, I was getting on the edges here, and at the bottom I was not vacuuming the fins. So don't get too creative and try to vacuum everything out. So you don't want to damage them, and you don't want too much pressure on them. So I just went on ahead and cleaned them out. I clean all the edges. I like what I see. They're a lot better than they were. So let's go ahead and spray it with this foaming cleaner. Alrighty, so as you guys can see, this stuff foams up a lot more. I did it on both sides, and I got it pretty good. Let me just get this edge right here so you can kind of see it better. Yeah, it really does foam up a good bit. So I'm gonna let it sit a little bit, maybe 2-3 minutes, and then I'm gonna probably still spray it with some water just so I can get it extra clean there. But you almost don't even have to spray this side. I would almost say just spray this side first, and then kind of let the foam get through it, and then I did spray the top of it as well, and then yeah, I'm just gonna let it do its magic. While we wait for that one to penetrate, this Evap actually looks really good. I can clearly tell it's cleaner. The front of it looks a lot better. Fins are pretty good actually too. I'm really happy with how it cleaned it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the cover back on here. And this one's complete. So it's been about a minute so far, and this one is still pretty foamy. So like I said, in probably another minute or two, I'll go ahead and start spraying with some water, and then I can help it to penetrate a little bit better. I don't think they said anything about waiting for it to do its job. I think it just sits on there. It's self-rinsing, so I guess whenever it feels like getting done. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and start working on this one here. You kind of get the gist of it. I'll show you guys how clean and dirty this one might be compared to the back one. The front AC unit is definitely a little bit more dirty in terms of like some of the debris sitting in here. I don't think it's because of it being in the front. I think it's just because we might use this one more because we like it colder at night, and so this probably runs a little bit more at night. That one probably runs a little bit more in the day alongside of this one when it's really hot. But I'm gonna go ahead and clean the coils out here. I'm gonna use the brush, get as much debris out as possible. The back of this one does look a little bit cleaner though. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to take all this apart again because there's some debris. I'll show it to you guys. Actually, you know what? It's not as bad. It is not as bad, but I think in that left corner on that side, it might be a little bit more stuff pitted on those fins. But again, I'm gonna go ahead and brush this one out, and we're gonna spray it, and then we'll pretty much move on to the back one here. But let's go ahead and check on the other one to see how clean it is. It's probably been about 5 minutes now. what is the takeaway for cleaning your AC unit evap? 100%, even though this says no rinse, I think this one says no rinse too, you're going to need a water bottle to really get into the grooves, like especially something that has like a little bit of pressure behind it like this, because I can actually clearly see the dirt falling down when I spray the water in there. So let the evap foam sit in there for like at least 5 minutes or longer. Maybe even do a second coating if you haven't cleaned these in a while. 3 years, mine weren't that dirty for the most part, but it cleaned up pretty easily. And I think just one spray on both sides with the evap foam did the trick. I saw a lot of dirt go down, and I think this is a really good weekend project for you if you really want to keep your ACs running efficiently. But I'm gonna go ahead and put the one out back together. I was waiting because there's someone, my family's there actually cutting the grass, so I wanted to have less noise in the background for you guys. So I waited a little bit longer, got this one pretty much squared away. It's pretty much done. It just needs to dry. I did put a rag on this side and on this side too, and to keep any kind of debris falling in here, just make sure you leave it covered up for the most part. But again, I'm gonna go ahead and put this one back together for you guys. I did clean the fan, or the fin on the back, whatever you want to call this. I just cleaned it up a little bit. I didn't spray anything on it. But when you go to put it back together, you can see like there's like a flat spot on there. And then on the metal rod here, there's this flat spot. So that's how it's gonna go back on. And yeah, it should be pretty much smooth sailing from there. If you do forget how to put all this back together, all you have to do is just, you know, do one of these at a time, and that way you have a reference point. Because sometimes I forget how things go back together, but I do know it goes on this way here. Alrighty, but yeah, actually, know what I'm gonna do? I am gonna clean this off too real quickly. I don't really see the need to spray this with any lubricant. Doesn't seem like it needs anything, but yeah, I'm just gonna clean off all this mess here. Alrighty, so I have everything back together on the back AC unit for the most part. So if you do want to take off this styrofoam and this fan blade, all you have to do, there's just 2 8s on each side of the styrofoam that you have to take off. So those come off first. Next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take off the fan blade, which is just this nut here. That's an 8, or you can use a flathead. And then once you get the fan blade released, you can just slide it off, and then the foam and the fan will come off together. And then that way, when you go to put it back together, it has to go back on that way too. Now, if you want to get this motor taken apart too, that the fan blade is connected to it, there's just 4 8s on each side of it here. So pretty easy to do. I recommend, if you don't like do stuff like this often, it's probably better to let a technician do it for you. But if you want to save money, this is how you do it here. So this one is pretty much done and clean. I'm happy with the result. I feel as though it's night and day difference from what it was. And I got like a lot of debris out of here. So I already have the evap done on this one, so I gotta do the back. And then I'm gonna take everything apart like I just showed you. And before you obviously put all it back together, just spin the fan blade a couple times, make sure you know everything's working as it was before. So I got everything undone on this 13.5 unit. You can clearly tell the difference on the fins compared to a 15K. So there's definitely a difference there, and of course you would expect that. This one's definitely dirty. I don't know if this is, it looks like almost animal hair, but it's just probably lint from inside of the RV. So I figure every 3 years you can do a deep clean, but just check it periodically throughout the year. But I'm gonna go ahead and clean this one up, and I'm gonna put everything back together, and that'll pretty much end this video. And then, like I said, I'll do a part 2, basically adding on the soft starts. They actually just got here from UPS, which is awesome. So I'm basically gonna go grab some lunch, and then I'll tackle that, and then I'll pretty much be done for the day. And I'll feel better about myself. These AC units don't really need a lot of maintenance, guys. It's just, for me, it's just preventive maintenance and of course efficiency to kind of keep them running at their top peak. And getting the RV cooler is always a bonus if, you know, these fins are straightened out, things like that. And just like that, this one is completely clean. It's still kind of drying, but I'm really happy with the results. They look a lot cleaner, and I think it's going to perform better. And my opinion is the white bottle, I can't remember, I just threw it down, I don't know why I did that. If you're going to get that one, go ahead and get 2 of those. I still have a little bit left in here, so this one is going to be good for 2 AC units, and you'll still have some left over. And I use a good bit of it too. And I did both sides of the Evap. Now, one thing I want you to understand is this: AC units on RVs are not going to ever be able to keep up. I only do this maintenance just because I want them to run as efficiently as possible, obviously, and also just to do preventative maintenance. So from my experience, AC units, if you run them from the very beginning of the morning time before the sun comes up, you can keep them pretty cold throughout the day, but they're going to probably get to 75 to 78 degrees. So we don't typically hang out in the RV to get cold. You know, we'll let it get up to about 80 degrees inside the RV, which is still pretty comfortable from my experience. But when it's 100 degrees outside, typically 2 AC units in direct sunlight is going to drop the temperature by like about 17 degrees. In the next video, I am going to install the soft start. So it just came in today. I'm going to go grab me a bite, and then that'll be a part 2 video that we do. And a part 3 will basically be me testing them out on my 30 amp generator. Basically, that's what it is. It has a 30 amp plug, and we're going to see if it's going to be able to, you know, handle both of them on at the same time. If you watched my last video I did, when I turned both AC units on with nothing else on except for some fans, it pretty much overloaded. So this is a good test. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I'll see you guys soon.